Hello, my name is Dr. Ruthie, or Dr. Ruth Newstifter if I'm in trouble. And I'm a professional sexuality educator and a blogger over at exploringintimacy.com. However, today I'm here thanks to the great folks at funwares.com answering your questions about sex and relationships. If you have a question for me, you can email it on over to Funwares at askdrruthie@funwares.com. ASKDRRUTHIE at funwares.com. And one of my most loyal question askers is back with a follow-up question day. He's been asking me lately about prostate stimulation and how to enjoy that by himself, by his lonely, as well as with others. And he has asked me a follow-up question, so I'm here to answer it. And he chuckles that I call him Anon, so he will be Anon again. I have a lot of Anons. Hi, thanks for your video response to Anon. Lol. Okay. So the next question is, how and where do I find women who are into doing this with their man? And by into doing this, he means prostate stimulation. That's a fantastic question, and you have no idea how many times I hear from men, where can I find a guy or a girl to rock my world in all these different ways that are slightly taboo by whatever their standards are, whether it be with the lights on or whether it be with a group of 20 raging lesbians wearing strap-on harnesses and kitty cat suits. And it runs the range between the two, you know. And interestingly enough, these guys are usually very surprised to find out that I get asked by a lot of women, where can I find a boyfriend or girlfriend who will enjoy these kinds of kinky things with me? All I can ever find, say these ladies, are partners who are just downright boring and don't want to try anything. There's plenty of websites out there that have already made the attempt to introduce you two groups to each other, and I guess it just isn't doing the job it needs to do. So I guess I can't invent a website for that. It wouldn't do me any good. What I will say is that you have to believe that there are a lot of people out there who are into what you're interested in, and out of that lot of people, there's got to be at least some that you are interested in trying it with and who would be interested in trying it with you. So the first thing is to, basically the point of this is to know that you are well within the range of normal. And you know what? The League of 300 lesbians with strap-ons and cat suits, that would be a little bit more difficult to coordinate and find a partner for. But you know what? I bet you could do it if you really wanted to. Somebody who's willing to stimulate your prostate with their hand, that's going to be a lot easier to find. That is well within the range of normal human activities that people like to explore but don't often talk about. And the fact that we don't often talk about it does make it difficult to find out who might be interested in it. When I find someone who has a particular activity they want to try, and they want to try it with a long-term relationship partner, which I'm inferring because you kind of implied it in one of your earlier email questions that you wanted to have this kind of long-term established caring relationship with someone before you brought that into the picture, is oftentimes I find that they get a little bit desperate and they get a little bit frantic and they start popping the question about that what they believe to be unusual thing that they're interested in right from the beginning. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Fred. Your name is Sarah. Lovely. You know, and let's go out and have some coffee. And within 10 minutes into the conversation, so tell me how you feel about sticking it in my pooper, right? So they've tossed it right out there into the beginning, and this communicates a few different things. One, a little weird and a lack of boundaries, bringing it up really quickly without that kind of introductory conversation to bring it in, although, hey, some folks enjoy that. Two, it makes it look like you're only focused on that and not everything else. And for you, that's just one of your goals that's really important. So you brought out the goal that's hardest to satisfy first to just kind of help with the quicker evaluation. But for the other person, it looks like you're kind of fixated on that. Well, that may not be the case at all. So my suggestion to you is to just get to know the person and just kind of gauge for a fun-loving, explorative, creative type of nature. That's going to help you find someone to explore and play with a lot better than just sticking out that one question right away, especially if you're looking for a long-term established kind of relationship. If you're just looking for a hookup and that's all you want to do, well, then obviously you want to ask that right away. So pacing yourself like that is important, and looking for someone who just has that sense of creativity, which means that you need to be that person who has that sense of creativity for them as well, so that you may be interested in trying things with them that you hadn't thought of before, that seem at least neutral or better to you, even if they aren't necessarily the thing that rocks your world. I also want you to come into these conversations knowing that what you're asking for is absolutely normal and fun and playful. So when you pose that question, But when you bring up that idea, it's part of a fun, sexy conversation about something crazy you heard on the radio or on Oprah Network, now that she doesn't have a show, or on one of those crazy Dr. Ruthie videos, or that you saw in some porn if you talk about your porn watching in your relationship. And you can pose that question or just bring up that idea in a happy, playful way. And if you act like it's okay, the other person is more likely to act like it's okay. If they're unfamiliar with a topic or they've had a bad experience, they may balk at it, which is a great opportunity to open up the conversation and say, hey, I'm surprised you're kind of startled at that, because that just seems like a pretty normal thing to me. Let's talk about why you're startling about that and go from there. And so bringing up the conversation in that kind of light-hearted way that lets them know that you're normal and you respect their response, but you also want to talk through it and just kind of see where it's coming from is a great way to introduce it. And in a loving, caring, creative relationship, there's a lot of room for exploration. Not everybody will want to try everything. And you might need a little compromise. Maybe they're more comfortable with using a gloved hand than an ungloved hand, which, by the way, I always recommend a gloved hand anyway. It works with the lube much better and it's safer. They may be more interested in a toy. They may be more interested in trying it on them first and then on you, or on you first and then on them. All of these things are options that you can go ahead and suggest. I'm Dr. Ruthie. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to integrate some spicy prostate play into your relationship. Thanks for your questions. Bye-bye.